Rock bottom is not your resting place. The truth about coming back up. I want to introduce you to someone who is changing the game for Black professionals and entrepreneurs everywhere. Her name is Delnia Jackson, and she is doing the kind of work that doesn't just inspire people, it reconstructs them. Delnia has dedicated her life to helping people rise from the ashes of their lowest moments. She's building a world where radical honesty about survival isn't just accepted, it's celebrated as the foundation of leadership. And what she shared with me is going to shake you awake. Let me tell you something nobody wants to say out loud. Rock bottom has a smell, it has a taste, it has a weight that sits on your chest at 3 in the morning when you're staring at the ceiling, wondering how you got here. And if you're a Black woman, especially one who's been holding it together for everyone else, rock bottom also has an audience. People watching, waiting to see if you'll get back up or if this is finally the thing that breaks you. But here's what Delnia Jackson taught me and what I want you to hear today. Your rock bottom is not your resting place. It's not where your story ends. It's where your power begins. If you're brave enough to name it and build your way out. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Here we go with another you got this speech. But no, this is not that. This is about the unglamorous, unfiltered truth of what it takes to come back up when you've been all the way down. And trust me, when I say all the way down, I mean it. I'm talking about the kind of low that doesn't make it to your highlight reel, the kind you don't post about, the kind that makes you question if you even deserve to try again. Delnia Jackson knows this terrain intimately. She's walked with people who've been in faces, places, and things they weren't supposed to come out of. And she's watched them rise anyway, not because they were special, not because they had some secret advantage, but because they made a decision and then they built a structure around that decision. Let me take you into three stories that prove this point. Three people who went all the way down and came back up, not with vibes and vision boards, but with systems, honesty, and an unshakable refusal to stay where life tried to bury them. First, Oprah Winfrey. And before you roll your eyes and say, of course, Oprah, let me remind you where she started. Oprah grew up in rural Mississippi, wearing dresses made from potato sacks. She was sexually abused by multiple family members starting in childhood. She got pregnant at 14. Her baby died. She had no safety, no stability, no reason to believe she'd ever be anything other than another statistic of poverty and trauma. Think about that for a moment. 14 years old, pregnant, baby dies. That's not just rock bottom. That's a grave society dug for her and expected her to lie down in. But Oprah did something radical. She leaned into education and speech. She became an honors student. She won a scholarship to Tennessee State University. She took a job in local media and eventually became a talk show host, where she used her pain, her truth, to her rock bottom inside as her superpower. She didn't hide it. She brought it to the light on national television. And in doing so, she gave millions of people permission to heal. Oprah built Harpo Productions, and she owned her content. She became the first Black woman billionaire in the United States. She established the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. She turned her trauma into a platform for collective healing. And here's the thing, she didn't do it by pretending the bottom never happened. She did it by being radically honest about where she'd been. That's the first thing Delnia Jackson wants you to understand. Radical honesty about your lowest moments is not a liability, it's a leadership skill. When Black professionals and entrepreneurs tell the truth about what they survived, addiction, burnout, financial collapse, mental health crises, they give others permission to heal and to keep going. Your story is not your shame, it's your strength. Now, let's talk about Tyler Perry. Tyler survived physical abuse from his father and sexual abuse in childhood. He dropped out of high school. He spent his early 20s broke. Um, with his first play failing financially multiple times. He experienced homelessness while trying to get his productions off the ground. His early plays were empty. He slept in his car. People dismissed his work as Chitlin Circuit Theater. Imagine that. You pour your heart into something. You write your pain onto the page. You rent a space. You put up flyers and nobody shows up. Then it happens again and again. Most people would quit. Most people would say, this is a sign. But Tyler did something most people won't do. He turned his trauma into stage plays that spoke directly to Black audiences, particularly Black women and church communities. He reinvested every small profit back into his shows. He toured relentlessly, even when audiences were tiny. And most importantly, he maintained ownership of his characters and scripts instead of handing over control to major studios. Today, Tyler Perry owns Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, a 330-acre studio on a former Confederate Army base. Let that sink in. A Black man who was abused, homeless, dismissed, now owns a studio on land that once represented his ancestors' oppression. He's a billionaire. He's created jobs and representation for Black actors, writers, and crew at scale. He's the first Black person to independently own a major film studio outright, and he did it by refusing to abandon his people or his story. Tyler's comeback wasn't glamorous, it was repetitive, disciplined, and lonely, but it was structured. And that's the second thing Delnia Jackson wants you to know. Rebuilding requires structure, not just strength. Coming back up is not vibes and motivation alone, it's systems, therapy, mentorship, money management, boundaries, a clear plan. Resilience is a habit, not a personality trait. And then there's Lisa Nichols. Lisa was a single mother on public assistance with $11.42 in her bank account. She couldn't afford diapers. She couldn't afford basic necessities. She stood in a welfare line holding her baby humiliated and broken. $11.42. That's not metaphorical poverty. That's real poverty. That's choosing between feeding your child and feeding yourself poverty. But Lisa drew a line in the sand at her lowest point. She decided her son would never see her there again. She started learning about personal development, public speaking, and business. She saved small amounts of money consistently. She funded her personal development education and entrepreneurial ventures. She didn't just feel inspired, she put structure around her comeback: budgets, mindset work, practice, training, a step by step path from survival to leadership. Today, Lisa Nichols is the CEO of Motivating the Masses, a multi-million dollar company. She's a featured teacher in The Secret. She's a best-selling author. She trains entrepreneurs, executives, and everyday people in speaking, mindset, and transformation. She's spoken on global stages, impacting millions with her story of radical transparency and disciplined rebuilding. Lisa's story is a blueprint for coming back up with intention, acknowledging your lowest moment without sugarcoating it, then building a precise, disciplined path out of it. She models how Black women can transform shame into strategy. Now, here's where this gets personal for all of us. Delnia Jackson didn't just share these stories with me to inspire you, she shared them to confront you. Because the truth is, some of you are at your rock bottom right now. Some of you are standing in that welfare line. Some of you are sleeping in your car. Some of you are one bad day away from giving up. And some of you came back up years ago, but you're still carrying the shame of where you've been, like it's a scarlet letter. And to all of you, Delnia Jackson says this: your rock bottom is not your resting place. Going all the way down doesn't disqualify you. It can be the pressure that forms your power. What matters is the decision to rise, not the depth of your fall. But Here's the part nobody tells you: the decision to rise is not enough. You need structure, you need a plan, you need to name your bottom and design your comeback. So here's what I want you to do. Within 24 hours of hearing this, I want you to write down your all the way down truth. No pretty language, no sanitized version for social media, just the real situation you're in or survived. Name it, own it, look at it. Then the thing, identify one structure you will put in place this week to rise: a therapy session, a call to a mentor, a budget, a business plan outline, a boundary you will set. One structure, not 10, one. And finally, commit to one daily action, 15 to 30 minutes, that moves you from surviving to building, learning, planning, executing. One action every single day. Because here's what Delnia Jackson knows and what Oprah, Tyler, and Lisa proved: coming back up is not a moment, it's a practice. It's not a feeling, it's a system. And it's not reserved for people who never fell. It's designed for people who fell hard and decided they weren't staying down. Your soft girl era, the one where you finally rest, where you finally say no without guilt, where you finally choose yourself. It doesn't start when everything is perfect. It starts when you decide you're done living at the bottom. It starts when you stop apologizing for surviving and start building the life you were meant to live. Delnia Jackson is out here doing the work, helping Black women and men turn their rock bottom into their foundation. And she's not doing it with fluff. She's doing it with truth, structure, and, and an unshakable belief that you are not done yet. So let me leave you with this: rock bottom is not your resting place, it's your launching pad. The world doesn't need another version of you that's barely holding on. The world needs the version of you that looked death, failure, shame, and rock bottom in the face and said, "Not today." The version that built a ladder out of discipline, honesty, and structure. The version that refused to let the lowest moment define the rest of the story. So get up, write it down, build your structure, take your action, and rise. Not because it's easy, not because anyone's watching, but because you owe it to yourself, to your ancestors, to every person who will come after you and need to know that coming back up is possible. Your rock bottom is not your resting place. Now go prove it.